Hi, this is Andy Wilkinson from skinnygainmuscle.com, and in this video here I hope you've been enjoying the YouTube videos so far and the content on how to gain weight and gain muscle. And it's been a while since the last videos were up. What I want to do here is get back to you and answer some of the questions that you've sent my way to do with overcoming being skinny and being able to gain more muscle, more mass, more size. And these are questions that have come through from all of you who've visited the skinnygainmuscle.com website and have grabbed those 20 videos. I've just updated those, but you can get 20 free videos over there. And once you've done that, you then have the opportunity to ask a question, send in your biggest challenge, your biggest frustration, and right in front of me here, if I'm going to be looking down at this computer and scrolling through to get through a number of these questions. Now, I appreciate there's only 10 minutes worth of information we can get across in a YouTube video, so we'll get into these, and my plan is that on a weekly basis to be able to send this information out to you. Now that quite a few questions have built up already, so the idea is to go through a whole bunch of these up front, maybe more than just once every week, and then on a weekly basis to get through these to be able to educate yourselves more so that you can really make the progress and get the results that you want. Okay, so let's start off with these, and the question that everyone's answering here is simply this: what's your biggest challenge or frustration about trying to gain weight or muscle? And the first one is, quite simply, if we jump to the top here, is that it takes too long. This person's also confused about the methods and asks, should it be high weight and low reps when doing weight training exercises, or vice versa? Or should it be drop sets or pyramid sets, etc.? Okay, great question. What kind of weight training routine is best to be able to gain weight and muscle if you're skinny? And we've got a few ones mentioned here. The key to be aware of here, that anything that is mentioned here like high weights and low reps, high weight, low reps is generally, yes, to do with strength. Anything that in which you're taxing out your muscles within the 1 to 6 rep range, maybe as high as 6 to 8 reps, anywhere in that lower rep range is really going to be geared towards strength and mass gains. Whereas if you're going for more endurance style exercising in the 15 to 25 rep range, inherently you're going to be using a lighter weight to be able to manage that increased number of reps. That's more to do with endurance and is not so much focused on size. Having said that, there's research out there, some very good research, especially that done by Alwyn Cosgrove, which I'm very thankful, I want to kind of pay attribution to, where he's noticed that if someone varies their rep range from low reps all the way through to high reps, then there can be a good increase in size and gains. But generally speaking, if you're really focusing in on purely what mass gains are, what strength gains are, then you're working really around that 6 rep range with a heavyish weight, in which you're really struggling and failing to finish that final repetition on the weights. Drop sets, that's simply where you take a high number of repetitions, maybe starting at 10 if you're doing 4 sets of an exercise, and you might drop the number of repetitions you're doing from 10 to 8 to 6 to 4, but increasing the weight at the same time. That can work, and that's part of a phase I include in a system that I created, the Skinny Gain Muscle 17-week program. It's in there. Pyramid sets mentioned, once again, could work. You start off with a low number of repetitions, build your way up, and then come back down again. That triangular pyramid kind of style. That's why it's called a pyramid set. But ultimately, yeah, strength is in the 1 to 6 rep range. Next question. Don't know how many calories to eat. Well, if you've signed up for those 20 free videos, in videos 6 through to 10, you get exact step-by-step instructions to calculate that. So go to the website skinnygainmuscle.com and sign up for those videos. You'll get that answered for you. Next challenge is slow progress, not knowing what exercises to do that will maximize muscle gain in the shortest time possible, and not knowing how often to eat and what specific foods to take to maximize the nutrients received. Okay, so 2 parts to that question: exercises to do and nutrition. The nutrition part, I encourage you again to watch those 20 free videos. Sign up for those, grab those. That's going to take you through quite specifically a lot of the things you need to pay attention to on that side of things. As far as exercises are concerned, if you look around in most gyms, most guys aren't doing what you really want to be doing if you're naturally skinny. You don't want to be focusing on those isolation exercises that only target those smaller muscle groups, like doing bicep curls or just doing tricep kickbacks. You really want to focus on what I call major muscle movements. And major muscle movements, or alternatively known as compound exercises, are multi-joint exercises. These are exercises that are going to really focus on more than one muscle at once, and ideally targeting those major muscle groups in your body. This is where you want to put 90% of your focus in when you're doing your training, to target those major large muscle groups in your body, your leg muscles, your chest muscles, your back muscles, because you want to recruit as much muscle fiber as possible. You want to activate as much muscle fiber as possible when you train in order to get the greatest gains, to get the greatest results from the effort that you're putting in. So what are examples of major muscle movements? Well, let's name three here. A couple, the kind of lower base origin. You've got your squat, you've got your deadlift, bent leg deadlift or Romanian deadlift. I prefer the bent leg deadlift all in all. And upper body more, you've got your bench press, the typical one that everyone knows, right, where you're lying on a bench with a barbell, could be dumbbells, and performing a bench press. Those are three exercises. Focus on those major muscle movements. Next question up here, dealing with the taste of foods and supplements that will help you gain. Well, I want to emphasize here, this is something that I labor again in the Skinny Gain Muscle system, is that you do not need supplements in order to gain weight. They should be a secondary consideration. Your primary focus should be on healthy, balanced, nutritious diet that gets your ratios of proteins, carbs and fats correct. Again, if you want to know about those ratios, watch those 23 videos that go into that in more detail for you. But ultimately, dealing with the taste, well, ultimately you just want to be having a healthy, nutrition balanced diet anyhow, whether you're wanting to gain weight or not. So it's just a case of choose the foods that are good for you and make that the core part of your focus, getting the right amount of the right amount of calories, and don't worry so much about the supplements to begin with. If you need to top up with supplements to meet your daily calorie requirements, okay, but primary focus should be nutritious, balanced, whole foods. Okay, we're at the 7.5 minute mark here. A couple minutes to go before this video times out for YouTube. Next, eating. I love food, but I don't eat properly and often enough. Okay, this is something that's fairly obvious, isn't it? If we need to get enough calories in our diet, we need to be eating relatively often. I recommend between 5 and 7 meals a day. More information about that in those 20 videos, again at skinnygainmuscle.com. And eating properly, you've got to be consistent about this. If you are serious about wanting to gain weight, you've got to commit to taking the action on a consistent basis. Otherwise, you're going to be taking 2 steps forward and then kind of throwing yourself another step back or 3 feet back if you don't maintain the consistency that's required to get the results that you want. Next question, it's far too slow. I eat the foods people tell me to take, the protein drinks, I do intense weightlifting workouts that my coaches give me, yet it takes months to gain 10 pounds and I've been at it for a year. What exactly am I doing wrong here? Okay, this is a big overarching question, and my answer to this is there are so many different component parts that we can't answer right now in this video. What I'm going to recommend to you is to simply just try out the Skinny Gain Muscle system. It's totally risk-free. Try it out, go through the materials. If it's not what you expected, it's not what you wanted, just let me know, get a complete refund. The way you can find out about that, I've taken that off the market slightly for the time being, but you can still access it via the blog. If you go to skinnygainmuscle.com/blog, on the right hand side, top right hand side of that page, you're going to find a image representation of that product, and you can click on there and get through to the details of the Skinny Gain Muscle program. Because there's so much involved in there with your question, I just want you to kind of be able to look at the whole thing, get all the answers there and then. Okay folks, we've got to 9.5 minutes now. We're going to end this video. I'll pick up where we left off with the next one. Hopefully this has been helpful. Once again, I'm Andy Wilkinson from skinnygainmuscle.com, getting these questions answered for you so you can get the best results in your life and gaining weight and muscle. Hope it's been helpful to you, and I'll see you again very soon. Thank you.